Here I am using Claude for everyday research, summarizing articles, asking questions, and getting answers within seconds. It feels harmless, helpful even. But recently, this same AI system was used in the war against Iran. According to the Washington Post, the US military used advanced artificial intelligence to strike over 1,000 targets in the first 24 hours of its attack on Iran. At the center of it was a system called Maven, built by Palantir, and powered in part by Anthropic's AI model, Claude. The system processed enormous amounts of classified data from satellites, surveillance feeds, and other intelligence and turned it into real-time battlefield decisions. But the thing is, it didn't just assist commanders. It suggested hundreds of targets, generated precise coordinates, ranked them by priority, and helped compress what once took weeks of planning into live, real-time operations. According to the Washington Post, this pairing of Maven and Claude allowed the military to accelerate the campaign, reducing Iran's ability to respond and fundamentally changing the pace of this war. And this isn't the first time Claude was used for military purposes. It has previously been used in counterterrorism operations and even in the raid that captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. But the attack on Iran marked its first major role in a large-scale war, and that's where the story becomes more complicated. Traditionally, military operations followed a deliberate process, as in the kill chain. Identify a target, verify it, assess legality, and then strike. That process took time, sometimes days or weeks. But AI is collapsing that timeline. In the Iran war, US and Israeli forces used AI systems to process massive streams of intelligence and generate targeting recommendations almost instantly. This phenomena is known as decision compression. Now, that might sound efficient, but the problem is that speed isn't everything, because surely something as sensitive as war should require deeper deliberation instead of simply clicking a button. And that raises a critical question. Are humans still making decisions, or are they just approving them? And should something as sensitive as war be left to machines? Now, what's happening in Iran isn't just technologically advanced, it's coordinated at an unprecedented scale. The United States and Israel, both leaders in military AI, combined their capabilities. Israel had already used AI systems like Lavender in Gaza to generate thousands of potential targets. According to The Guardian, at one stage, the system identified 37,000 potential targets based on their apparent links to Hamas. The intelligence sources cited by The Guardian also claim that Israeli military officials permitted large numbers of Palestinian civilians to be killed. One intelligence officer who used Lavender said that he had more faith in statistical mechanism than a grieving soldier. He added that the machine did it coldly, and that made it easier. Another Lavender user shedding light on the selection process said, "I would invest 20 seconds for each target at this stage and do dozens of them every day. I had zero added value as a human apart from being a stamp of approval. It saved a lot of time." These testimonies speak for themselves. But let's zoom out, because in Iran, they've scaled these methods dramatically and possibly turned it into an algorithm-driven conflict. Behind this transformation is a new kind of military backbone built by private tech companies, especially Palantir. They work with the Pentagon to develop platforms that fuse intelligence from satellites, drones, and ground operations into a single operational picture. But these systems don't just display information. They analyze it, rank targets, and recommend actions. And if you ask them to, they can also evaluate legal justifications for strikes using automated reasoning.
If we take, for example, war in Iran, what we observe the weaponization of AI, but also from another side, from Iranian perspective, if you want, we observe the weaponization of infrastructure and also the weaponization of energy. So we are observing new types of weapons or the weaponization of several tools and sectors also with the use of AI and for AI, considering the development and all the projects which aim to develop AI and which try to ensure or to have this artificial super intelligence. And artificial super intelligence will need more energy. So that's why we cannot dissociate the weaponization of AI from the weaponization of energy and the weaponization of infrastructure. AI is, in fact, compressing the time of war, scaling operation, and mediating human decisions.
In effect, AI is not just supporting commanders, it may be shaping the battlefield itself. And this is apparent in the recent tensions involving Anthropic and its AI model, Claude. Claude was reportedly integrated into military systems to accelerate planning during the Iran campaign. But the partnership didn't last because Anthropic refused to allow its AI to be used for fully autonomous weapons or domestic surveillance. They basically said that sure, AI should assist humans, but not replace them in life and death decisions. This refusal led to a breakdown with the US government, which began phasing out Claude from its systems. According to the Washington Post, relations between Anthropic's CEO and the US government deteriorated sharply. Hours before the Iran bombing began, the US administration announced that it would ban government agencies from using Anthropic's tools, giving them 6 months to phase them out. Yet, despite the ban, the military continued using Claude in active operations, highlighting how dependent it had become on the system. One official speaking to the Washington Post explained that even if Anthropic attempted to withdraw access, the government would use its authority to retain the technology until a replacement was ready, which means that the AI system had become too critical to abandon. And that's when competitors stepped in immediately. OpenAI and Elon Musk's xAI have both signed agreements to work on classified government systems. According to the Washington Post, the Pentagon began integrating Anthropic's Claude AI into its Maven system in late 2024. And then under the Trump administration, Maven's use rapidly scaled across the military. By mid-2025, more than 20,000 personnel were using the system. So the commanders now overseeing the Iran campaign weren't new to it. They had already relied on earlier versions of Maven during the US withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021 and in operations supporting Israel after the October 7, 2023 attacks. But what makes this moment different is how deeply AI has been embedded into this war.
This acceleration raises, of course, significant concerns regarding collateral damage, as the speed and scale of AI-assisted targeting may undermine careful proportionality assessments under international law and particularly international humanitarian law, increasing the risk that civilian harm is miscalculated or insufficiently mitigated. What we are observing now is that concerning AI use during this Iran war is that we are observing what we can call integrated AI warfare, where algorithms are part of the operational backbone, not just tools.
Anthropic was the first major AI company to work directly with classified military data. In some cases, AI systems allowed small teams to perform the work of thousands. One US artillery unit reportedly achieved the output of 2,000 personnel with just 20 people using AI-assisted tools. NATO has also embraced similar systems, describing them as giving commanders video game-like control over battlefield awareness. And perhaps that's the most important shift of all. Not that AI is being tested in war, but that it's already being used. Unlike nuclear weapons, AI is easier to replicate and harder to regulate. Supporters argue that AI can make warfare more efficient, even more precise, but critics warn that the dangers are profound. First, speed. When decisions are compressed into seconds, meaningful human oversight becomes difficult. This leads to what experts call cognitive offloading, as in humans relying on machines to do all the thinking. AI systems are trained on data, and that data can reflect flawed assumptions. Even advanced systems can replicate errors at a really large scale. Third, overconfidence. Some experts warn that the capabilities of AI in warfare may be overstated and that militaries risk trusting systems that are not fully reliable. And finally, escalation. A future shaped by AI could see conflicts unfold way too quickly for diplomacy to intervene. A war that once escalated over weeks could spiral in hours. Despite these risks, global regulation remains limited. The United Nations has called for restrictions on fully autonomous lethal weapons. There is another force driving this shift, and that's money. Defense spending is attracting massive investment from tech companies and venture capital. What was once controversial is now profitable, so companies that initially resisted military involvement have now begun to reconsider. This creates a powerful incentive, not just to build AI, but to actually deploy it as well. So, what comes next? Some experts argue that fully autonomous warfare is still far off, that AI will enhance human decision-making, not replace it. Others warn that the trajectory is clear. Anyone would prefer speed and automation. But the real danger may not be machines taking over, it's humans gradually stepping back, delegating more responsibility, and trusting systems that could malfunction at any time. And as warfare accelerates beyond human speed, the question is no longer just what AI can do, but whether it should now also be given control of deciding who lives and dies.